Something weird is happening in our town, and only my family seems to notice. The first thing we started noticing were duplicates. Identical copies of people, places, and events that boggled the analytical mind and violated the natural laws we all believed in. It was an enigma that began subtly enough. People we saw in one location would mysteriously appear in another. These incidents started occurring at an alarming rate, each instance more perplexing than the previous one. It felt as though our humble town had turned into a distorted reflection of reality, casting unsettling replicas of its inhabitants. For instance, my mother and I saw and engaged in a friendly chat with an old acquaintance at the local grocery store. We laughed, we brought back memories of the past, we exchanged hugs, utterly unaware of the strangeness that was about to unfold. As we returned home, we discovered through Facebook that this person was vacationing abroad and had been away for several days. The realization was akin to a frigid hand gripping our hearts as we tried to comprehend the information. The person didn't recall our conversation either. It wasn't a simple case of forgotten dialogues. It was as though our exchange at the grocery store had never occurred. Then came the peculiar phone calls, duplicate versions of conversations I had already had. The other party would claim we hadn't spoken before. It was like an unnerving reverberation of a dialogue that had already taken place. It felt like time was playing a wicked game with us, replicating itself in a manner so strange and unexplainable. These odd incidents weren't limited to people alone. Inanimate objects, locations, and events also started exhibiting the same weird duplicates. Our town, once a serene sanctuary, had transformed into a breeding ground for paranormal events, a mute spectator to the peculiar occurrences that only my family seemed to be aware of. The most terrifying aspect, however, were the repeated deaths. Death is a sorrowful event, a conclusive end to the circle of life. But in our town, death had adopted a new, terrifying characteristic. 4 people, recognized and influential members of our community, had died twice. We heard about their deaths and saw the "rest in peace" posts on Facebook. The gloomy condolences, the passionate eulogies, they all depicted a community in grief. We saw the community fundraisers organized to raise funds for the funerals, even the cars parked at the church or the funeral home. The air was heavy with the scent of loss, the town enveloped in a veil of mourning. Yet, in a bizarre twist, these same people died again a week or 2 later. The cycle repeated. The RIP posts and fundraisers were held once more. It seemed as though the town was stuck in a gruesome loop, ceaselessly repeating the same tragic incident. Oddly, only our family noticed these events. My mother, my siblings, my 2 kids. We were the sole observers of this strange pattern. The rest of the town appeared oblivious to the eerie happenings. The uncertainty was growing, and it was starting to frighten us. These weren't merely a string of peculiar coincidences. It felt like our town had transformed into a hub for supernatural phenomena, a place where the normal laws of the universe ceased to exist. The unexplainable events, the duplication of instances, the chilling repeat deaths, they all were pieces of a puzzle that defied any conventional explanation. This wasn't merely a case of seeing apparitions. It seemed as if we were the spectators of a reality that no one else could perceive. Every day brought a new anomaly, a new mystery to solve. The once familiar faces of our neighbors were now the faces of strangers. Their smiles held secrets, and their eyes, fear. Our once peaceful town was slowly being consumed by a terror that no one else seemed to notice. My children started having nightmares, dreams filled with doppelgangers and repeat deaths. It was as if the paranormal happenings of our town were seeping into their subconscious. We tried to reason with them, tried to make them understand that it was just their imagination, but deep down we knew it was all too real. Our peaceful nights were now filled with whispers, whispers of the unknown, whispers of the things we were seeing. We would sit around the dinner table, each lost in our own thoughts, each trying to make sense of the bizarre happenings around us. We reached out to paranormal experts, hoping they could shed some light on the incidents. But their explanations only added to our confusion. They spoke of parallel universes and glitches in reality. These theories were fascinating, yet they offered no comfort. It only solidified our fear that we were living in a reality that was falling apart. Something weird is happening in our town, and only my family seems to notice. It's been thrust into a bone-chilling ghost story, a narrative that defies comprehension. We're living in a reality that seems to be unraveling before our eyes, A world that's beginning to scare us. We don't know what's happening and it's starting to scare. I'm not sure if this really counts as a glitch, but still creepy and unexplained. As I delve into this tale, a peculiar narrative that remains a mystery, I find myself enveloped in a fog of bewilderment and intrigue. I'm about to share an experience that, while initially may seem ordinary, on closer inspection proves to be far from it. Our story begins with a relationship. My relationship, to be precise, with a girl I once loved deeply. It was during a time when we were young, free-spirited, and consumed with a passion that painted a vibrant picture of idealistic romance. At that point in time, she had long hair, a detail which might not raise eyebrows now, but as we move further into the story, you'll realize the importance it holds. As time passed, our relationship evolved, or perhaps more aptly, devolved. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and with each passing moment, we found ourselves drifting apart. It felt as though an unseen force, powerful and relentless, was prying open a chasm between us, one that proved too wide to bridge. I remember the day we parted, her long hair waving goodbye as the wind gracefully carried it away. Time, an entity often attributed with healing powers, did its job. We found a way to move on, found our individual paths, led separate lives. It was only after a significant time had passed that fate decided to intervene once again, reuniting us in the most unexpected of ways. By now, she had undergone a transformation, trading her long hair for a short bob. This change was symbolic, marking a new chapter in her life and in the life of our relationship. As we attempted to rekindle our romance, a strange incident occurred, one that continues to haunt me. I had a dream, a surreal encounter that was eerily reminiscent of our past. In this dream, she was there, but not as the girl with the short bob. She returned as the girl with the long hair, the girl I fell in love with, and the girl I lost. The dream was with nostalgia and a sense of déjà vu. She was distant, aloof, much like the girl she had become towards the end of our initial relationship. It was a hauntingly beautiful dream, instilling within me a strange sensation of living through that phase of our relationship again, but this time within the confines of a dream. I woke up disoriented, attributing the dream to my subconscious mind playing tricks on me. One day, during a casual conversation, I decided to share the dream with her. As the words tumbled out of my mouth, I watched the color drain from her. A look of disbelief replaced her usual calm demeanor as she processed my revelation. What she said next made my blood run cold. She admitted to having the exact dream only 2 years earlier, when her hair was still long and our lives were separate. She recounted her experience, her dream filled with strange connotations, instilling a sense of confusion and disorientation. It was as if I was there with her, as though we were still together, creating an atmosphere that left her as disoriented as I felt after my dream. We compared notes, our descriptions of the dream eerily identical. The dream took place at a house party bustling with people, some of them our mutual friends. The house, a character in itself, was filled with peculiar rooms, each housing unusual objects and strange elements, including certain animals. The layout of the rooms, the overall ambiance, everything was strikingly similar in both our dreams. It was such an uncanny coincidence that we couldn't just dismiss it as mere chance. The eeriness of the situation was amplified by the precise matching of the timeline and events of both our dreams. This left us shell-shocked, grappling with questions we had no answers to. Was it a glitch in the fabric of reality? Was it a cosmic sign? Or was it just an extraordinary coincidence? A testament to the depth of our connection. Even now, we find ourselves pondering over this unexplained phenomena, the mystery of our synchronized dreams casting a shadow over our lives. It's like an unsolved puzzle, a riddle that keeps us guessing, questioning the unknown, and marveling at the cosmic forces at play. It's an unexplained phenomena, a strange twist of fate that we are yet to decipher. It was a house party with lots of people and some common friends. Also, it had lots of strange rooms with bizarre stuff like certain animals, objects, or simply the layout of the rooms that made it impossible to just be a coincidence. It was after my mum died and I dropped an earring she gave me down the sink. I remember that day vividly. It was a day marked by piercing emptiness, an expanse of sorrow stretching out endlessly before me. My heart was a barren desert, and grief was the only resident. The sky outside was a beautiful canvas, painted with varied hues of orange and pink. It was a sunset that was spectacular in its simplicity, and yet somber in its solitude, a poignant testament to the solitary sorrow that enveloped my heart. My mother was gone, her departure to the other world leaving behind an echoing silence that reverberated through the corners of the house, bouncing off the empty walls and filling them with a profound sense of loss. She had left behind a whirlwind of memories, her laughter still echoing in my ears like a haunting melody, and her belongings scattered around the house like pieces of a puzzle, each item telling a story of her life, each artifact a testament to her existence. Among those belongings, a pair of earrings always caught my attention. They were a delicate pair, intricately designed with small opals embedded in an oval turquoise stone, finished in a silver setting. The earrings were special, not just because of their design but because of the emotional weight they carried. My mum had a deep affection for them, as they were a gift from my father on their 10th wedding anniversary. They were her favorites, adorning her ears on every special occasion, their subtle sparkle reflecting in her eyes. Now they were the only physical memory I had of her, a tangible representation of the bond we shared. I was in my room that day, her earrings carefully cradled in my hand. Their metallic coldness felt comforting against my skin, a poignant reminder of the warmth that once emanated from my mother. I could feel the weight of the memories as I held them, as if they were whispering stories of a love that was enduring and eternal, each tale intertwined with the grooves and curves of the earrings. As I held them close, they felt like a piece of my mum, her essence captured within those turquoise stones, her soul resting within the confines of the opals. My fingers traced their contours, my mind replaying the myriad of moments she had worn them, the countless times they had twinkled in the soft candlelight during dinner parties, or shimmered under the sun during our summer picnics. My heart fluttered in a strange cocktail of emotions, a blend of grief and nostalgia, as I moved to wear them. The earrings were not just jewelry anymore. They were a connection, a bridge to the past, to the times we spent together, the laughter we shared, and the love we professed. But in my trembling hand, one slipped, bouncing once, twice, and then it disappeared down the sink. A part of me felt like it was sucked into the void along with the earring. I tried to retrieve it, but it was beyond my reach. The earring was gone, swallowed by the darkness of the sink, much like my mum was taken away by the darkness of death. I was left with its twin, a solitary earring that seemed as lost and lonely as I was. I felt a pang of regret, a twist in my heart. That night, I placed the remaining earring on my dresser, a silent prayer in my heart for the lost one, and slipped into a tear-stained sleep. Dawn broke, and with it came a new day, a new reality. When I woke up the next day, I was greeted by an unexpected sight. The pair of earrings was sitting on my dresser, reunited once again. The one that had slipped into the sink was back, gleaming under the soft morning sun, as if it had never been lost. I was stunned, the sight flooding my heart with relief and a strange sense of peace. I couldn't explain it, but it felt like a part of my mum had come back, like she was there with me, watching over me, protecting me. The earrings, now back together, seemed to gleam brighter, their sparkle more pronounced, their presence more comforting. They were both on my dresser the next morning. I cannot explain it.